Exiled Bangladeshi author Taslima Nasreen, a staunch critic of communalism, has picked an irony in ousted Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's unceremonious exit from her country in the face of deadly protests. Ms Nasreen said Hasina was behind throwing her out of Bangladesh to please Islamists, and the same Islamists were part of the student movement that forced her to leave the country. Hasina, in order to please Islamists, threw me out of my country in 1999 after I entered Bangladesh to see my mother in her deathbed and never allowed me to enter the country again. The same Islamists have been in the student movement who forced Hasina to leave the country today, said Ms Nasreen in an online post. Ms Hasina fled to India in a military plane on Monday. The author blamed her for allowing Islamists to grow and letting those involved in corruption to thrive. She also slammed army rule in her country and pitched for democracy. Hasina had to resign and leave the country. She was responsible for her situation. She allowed her people to involve in corruption. Now Bangladesh must not become like Pakistan. Army must not rule. Political parties should bring democracy and secularism, she said in an earlier post. Ms Nasreen had to leave Bangladesh in 1994 in the wake of death threats by fundamentalist outfits over her book Lajja. The 1993 book was banned in Bangladesh but became a bestseller in other countries. Khalida Zia, the arch-rival of Ms Hasina, was the prime minister at that time. The author has been living in exile since. Bangladesh saw one of its deadliest demonstrations on Sunday with nearly 100 protesters dying in the clashes with cops. In the fallout, the protesters plundered the Prime Minister's residence on Monday. Ms Hasina avoided a direct confrontation, having already resigned and left the country in a military chopper to India. The country's army chief called a press conference hours later and declared that an interim government would be formed to run the country. News Desk, Kaumudy Global.